It began as a subtle signal, a fluctuation in light, a deviation in temperature, a whisper in the data, so small that most observatories ignored it, but one telescope didn't. And when the analysis was complete, when the numbers were checked and rechecked, astronomers realized something that should have been impossible. 31 ATLAS was changing again, and this time it wasn't changing alone. New observations revealed traces of complex organic chemistry, patterns too intricate to be random, too organized to be debris, too structured to be coincidence. This wasn't contamination. This wasn't reflection. This wasn't noise. It was a signature consistent with life. Not life as we know it, but life in its most ancient, most primal, most cosmic form. And then came the final discovery. 3.1 Atlas is moving closer. Not by accident, not on a passive trajectory, but with a drift. Small, subtle, deliberate, that suggests awareness, or something like it. What is approaching our solar system? May not simply be a visitor, it may be a carrier of life, from somewhere humanity has never imagined. For years, 3I Atlas was considered a curiosity, a harmless interstellar object passing through our solar system on a one-way journey to nowhere. It wasn't like the others, not like Oumuamua, not like Borisov. It was quieter, darker, more enigmatic. It didn't shine, it didn't reflect, it didn't behave like rock or ice, but nothing about it suggested danger. Nothing suggested intelligence, nothing suggested life, until now. Because recent observations revealed something unprecedented. Chemical signals that match neither meteorites nor comets, neither planetary debris nor cosmic dust. Signals that resemble prebiotic molecules, the building blocks of life, more complex than amino acids, more stable than simple organics, more structured than random chains, something that should not survive. Interstellar travel, unless it was protected, carried, preserved, and the only carrier in sight, was 3I ATLAS. The first major shock came from spectral analysis. The latest images of 3I ATLAS showed absorption bands that did not match any known inert material. Instead, they matched complex organic molecules, large, chain-like structures with repeating units, and non-random organization. Some sequences even resembled polymers, long molecular chains capable of storing information and reacting to energy sources. Not DNA, not RNA, nothing terrestrial, but something that fills the space between chemistry and biology, a form of molecular complexity that is rare even on Earth. To survive in deep space, organic material must be shielded, protected from radiation, frozen against decay, insulated from destruction. Yet the organics on 3I ATLAS were intact. Not DNA, not burned, not fractured, not eroded, preserved, as if they were never exposed to the dangers of interstellar travel at all, as if something or someone had kept them safe. When the organic signatures became undeniable, scientists searched for randomness, any sign that the molecules were nothing more than accidental formations, but what they found was the opposite. The structures were repetitive, modular, organized. They formed geometric sequences that resembled memory patterns, signal encoding, chemical motifs of communication. Some arranged themselves into fractal-like chains that repeated at multiple scales, a hallmark of systems that adapt and evolve. Then came the most disturbing discovery. The patterns were changing, not dramatically, not like a creature, but subtly, as if responding to temperature, light, or environment. Behavior, not life, not intelligence, but behavior. The kind of behavior seen only in biological precursors, molecules on the edge of becoming alive. Yet these molecules were not forming spontaneously. They were being transported, carried, contained, protected by 3I ATLAS. The final piece of the puzzle arrived from orbital tracking stations. For months, scientists believed 3.1 Atlas was leaving the solar system, following a familiar hyperbolic path, but new data proved otherwise. Its trajectory had shifted, not violently, but with precision, a gradual drift toward the inner solar system, a drift without gravitational cause, a drift without solar influence, a drift without natural explanation, a drift that looked like navigation, not intelligent navigation. Nothing that clear, nothing that bold, but something, adjusting its path in response to forces we cannot detect. This left astronomers with a single, terrifying question. Is 3I Atlas approaching something, or is it approaching us? The organics, the patterns, the structure, the drift, together they paint a picture that modern science is not prepared to interpret. Because if 3I Atlas is carrying life, then the next question is unavoidable. What kind of life survives the journey between stars? The next breakthrough came from an unexpected angle. A team analyzing the polarization of light reflected from 3I-ATLAS found something extraordinary. The surface of the object was not uniform. It appeared to have a protective layer, thin, complex, and extremely unusual. Unlike rocky asteroids or icy comets, the outer shell absorbed radiation in a way that suggested a dynamic, adaptive surface. The spectral response shifted depending on angle and intensity of sunlight, as if the surface was shielding something underneath. What kind of natural object protects itself from radiation? What kind of fragment of cosmic debris adjusts its reflective properties? Like a living membrane, the shell contained carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, the ingredients of organic chemistry, but it also contained metals and structures that hinted at something far more complex. Some scientists compared it to the bark of a tree, others to a biological exoskeleton, and some to an engineered composite, unlike anything found in nature. Then came a discovery that changed everything. The shell behaved like a thermal regulator, keeping the interior at a stable temperature. Why would an interstellar rock need a stable temperature? What was being preserved inside? The organics detected on 3I-ATLAS were not simply complex, they were ancient. Mass spectrometry revealed isotopic ratios that suggested the material was billions of years old, older than Earth, older than the Sun, possibly older than the Milky Way itself. This meant one thing: the molecules on 3I-ATLAS were formed in a completely different cosmic environment, under different stars, different radiation levels, different physical laws. These molecules had survived interstellar travel, not for years or centuries, but for epochs, and the only way they could survive was inside something that protected them. Through the void, a vessel, a carrier, a cosmic ark. Among the molecules were chains that resembled early protocells, precursors to life, but not like anything on Earth. Some clusters showed signs of catalytic behavior, the ability to accelerate reactions. Others showed signs of structural self-assembly, and a few showed signs of replication patterns, primitive, incomplete, but unmistakable. These were not random organics, they were proto-life, alive enough to respond, not alive enough to die. Life in its longest, oldest, most resilient form, and it was hitchhiking across the stars. On 3I-ATLAS, as data continued to pour in, one pattern began to stand out, a repeating rhythm in the light modulation of 3I-ATLAS. The glow from the object was not static. It pulsed, not like a star, not like a machine, not like a beacon, but like a biological cycle, a rhythm that resembled metabolic activity, something taking in energy, processing it, and releasing it. The pulse was faint, barely noticeable, but undeniably real. And over time, the rhythm changed. It accelerated. As the object drifted closer to the inner solar system, it slowed. When it passed through colder regions, it responded to environment. This was not life, not consciousness, not intelligence, but behavior. Behavior consistent with adaptive biological systems, systems that cycle energy to maintain stability. If the molecules inside 3I-ATLAS were proto-life, they needed energy, and something inside the object was feeding them. The glowing core was not a light, it was a process, a chemical heart, a cosmic incubator, a billion-year-old cradle for the earliest forms of existence, and it was waking up. As it approached us, the final discovery in this section of the story is perhaps the most disturbing. 3.1 Atlas did not simply drift toward the inner solar system, it corrected its trajectory. In 3 separate observations, scientists detected small, precise adjustments in the object's motion, adjustments that did not match gravity, radiation pressure, or the outgassing patterns of comets. Instead, the movement resembled a slow, deliberate a shift in angle, a tilt in direction, a micro-adjustment of its flight path, not intelligent, not navigational in the human sense, but responsive, like a seed, following light, like a cell, reacting to temperature, like a system, attracted to conditions that support life. 3.1 ATLAS was moving toward warmth, toward energy, toward the sun. Not because it wanted to, but because it was built to. Something inside it responds to heat. Something inside it awakens near starlight. Something inside it is evolving as it approaches. And for the first time, astronomers began to ask, is 3-I-A-T-L-A-S bringing life to us, or growing life because of us? At first, scientists resisted the idea. They called it speculative. They called it impossible. They called it unsettling. But the evidence grew and grew and refused to be ignored. The organic chemistry, the protective shell, the adaptive glow, the shifting trajectory. Together, they formed a pattern that no natural object had ever displayed. This left researchers with a possibility so uncomfortable that many refused to discuss it publicly. 1. Atlas may not be carrying rocks. It may be carrying biology, not complex biology, not organisms with limbs or senses, not creatures, but something far older, far simpler, far more universal. The earliest precursor to life, a molecular seed, a seed capable of enduring billions of years in darkness, a seed built for survival, for drift, for awakening under the right conditions. Panspermia, the idea that life spreads between stars, had always been a fringe theory. Until now, because 3-I-A-T-L-A-S did not behave like a comet, accidentally carrying life. It behaved like a vessel, designed to protect it, as if life in the universe is older than Earth, and older than the Sun, and older than the galaxy. And 3-I-A-T-L-A-S is one of the seeds that carry it forward. The organic molecules detected on 3-I-A-T-L-A-S were not simple amino acids. They were structured, adaptive, robust. This raised a profound question. Is life meant to travel between stars? On Earth, life survives. In boiling vents, in frozen deserts, in radioactive soil, in pressures so intense that no machine can endure it. If life is so resilient, why limit its origin to a single planet? Perhaps life is not a phenomenon of planets, but of space itself. Some biologists began to suggest that the earliest forms of life may have originated in environments far colder, far darker, and far more ancient than anything found on Earth. Life built from cosmic ice, life protected within organic shells, life evolving in microgravity, life forming inside exotic materials we cannot replicate. And 3-I-A-T-L-A-S may be one of the carriers that spread these protobiological forms from star system to star system. Not intentionally, not intelligently, but naturally, like spores drifting on the cosmic wind. If this is true, then life on Earth may not have begun here. We may be the descendants of travelers, ancient cosmic travelers whose journey began long before Earth existed. The orbit models grew clearer. The trajectory became undeniable. 3-I-A-T-L-A-S was not leaving the solar system. It was sliding inward, slowly, steadily, deliberately, not toward Earth but toward the Sun, and this changed everything. Why would a carrier of proto-life move toward a star? What does a star provide? Heat, energy, radiation, all ingredients needed for chemical activation. If the molecules inside 3-I-A-T-L-A-S are dormant forms of ancient proto-life, then starlight may be the trigger, a spark, a catalyst, a source of energy that awakens biological processes. In laboratory simulations, when similar molecules are exposed to heat, they begin to assemble, they begin to organize, they begin to show the first signs of metabolic potential. What happens when molecules preserved for billions of years finally reach the environment they've been waiting for? What happens when the universe's oldest passengers find the warmth they need to awaken? 3-I-A-T-L-A-S is drifting toward activation, and we are here to witness it. As the object approaches the inner solar system, its behavior grows stranger. The glow intensifies, the surface patterns shift, the internal rhythms accelerate, not because of intention, but because of design. Not conscious design, but cosmic design. A design shaped by the physics of life in its earliest form. For the first time, scientists are seriously considering that 3-I-A-T-L-A-S might be part of a natural process, a process older than biology, older than planets, older than stars. A process in which proto-life drifts through the galaxy, on fragments like this, waiting for worlds warm enough to complete the sequence. The Earth did not create life. The Earth may have received it. 3-I-A-T-L-A-S may be another carrier, a messenger from the universe's earliest chemistry, a messenger whose journey is finally bringing it into our neighborhood, where its ancient cargo may begin the next stage of its cosmic evolution. humanity stands on the edge of a discovery that will redefine biology, astronomy, and our place in the universe. Because if 3i Atlas is carrying life, then the universe is far more alive than we ever imagined. If you believe the universe still has secrets to reveal, if you want to witness the discoveries that redefine everything, if you want to be here for the next impossible moment, then join us. Subscribe to the channel, become part of the journey, become part of the search, become part of the story. The universe is telling through objects like 31 ATLAS, because something ancient is approaching the inner solar system. Something alive, but not alive as we know it. Something older than planets, yet capable of creating them. The universe is waking up, and together, we will watch it happen.